The Hidden Lotus sect controls the Jade Kingdom from the shadows, forging young girls into unfeeling, expendable instruments of its unholy ambitions. Tonight, beneath the flickering ceremonial lanterns of the inner sanctum, the faceless master steps forward from the gloom. He binds a piece of raw, stark white gauze tight across Wei's lower face, an inescapable physical brand of ownership signifying that her identity belongs solely to the sect. Wei stands rigidly before the ancient stone map of the empire, her posture flawless. The master assigns her a critical mission. The remote province of Azure Peak is in open rebellion, led by Governor Zhang, who has betrayed their trust and hoards the sacred starstone within his private vaults. Wei must cleanse this treason and recover the crystal. Disciplined like an unthinking automaton, she drops to one knee and responds, "Your will is the way." Unbeknownst to her, the sect thrives on deep deception and paranoia. High in the shadowed rafters, Zhen, the master's most feared and lethal executioner, watches closely. His explicit orders are to shadow Wei and immediately eliminate her if her loyalty wavers. Yet, Zhen's fierce loyalty is quietly fraying. Years of observing Wei from afar have melted his cold indifference into a forbidden romantic love. He recognizes the genuine human girl trapped beneath her psychological indoctrination, and he is secretly sworn to protect her humanity at the risk of his own life. The immediate mission is clear: infiltrate Azure Peak, eliminate Governor Zhang, and retrieve the glowing starstone. However, the assignment is secretly a multi-layered trial to test whether Wei's buried humanity will become her undoing. The fate of the entire kingdom rests between a young woman on the verge of breaking and a hardened man sworn to save her against all odds. Wei reaches the outermost perimeter wall of the Forbidden City, pressing flat against the damp stone. As she prepares to begin her upward climb, a razor-sharp kunai violently embeds itself into the masonry an inch from her temple. It is an ice-cold, silent warning. Was it a deadly trap set by an unknown ambush, or a secret signal from Zhen? Wei infiltrates the governor's palace with the silent grace of a ghost. Surprisingly, the guards are incompetent, moving as if they were expecting her arrival. Though this ease should trigger an alarm, Wei remains completely focused on her primary objective: securing the starstone, a crystal rumored to be the key to a lost technology. Inside the inner sanctum, Lord Zhang waits alone. He is not a monster, but a weary, noble man with an expression of deep sadness. Seeing the white gauze mask, the mark of the Lotus sect, he sighs in resignation. "Lord Zhang, you are another of their blades. They sent you for this." He holds up the starstone, which pulses with a cold, blue light. Greater than Wei. The sect does not bargain. You hoard it, and they demand it. Lord Zhang. They don't want it for the people. They want it to build a weapon that will enslave this entire continent. The sect is the tyrant. Wei hesitates, experiencing the first crack in her lifelong indoctrination as Zhang paints the sect as the ultimate evil. Suddenly, the double doors burst open. A contingent of palace guards storms the room, led by Lord Kai, the governor's charismatic top general who radiates confidence and honor. "Lord Kai." "My Lord Zhang." "The assassins." Kai draws his blade, but it is a setup. A brief, chaotic skirmish unfolds. Kai's men attack Wei while feigning hostility, and Lord Zhang is wounded by one of Kai's own men. Kai then delivers the fatal blow to Zhang, framing Wei for the murder. Lowering his helmet, Kai looks at Wei with cold eyes. "Lord Kai. I have my own master, Little Lotus. Zhang is dead, the starstone is stolen, and Wei is surrounded by elite guards." High above at a window, Zhen draws his hidden blades. Will he save Wei or complete his mission to eliminate her? Wei's world shatters as Kai frames her for murder, forcing her to flee empty-handed with her reputation destroyed. She returns injured and disillusioned to the Hidden Lotus sect compound, where the master waits coldly. "Master. You failed. You let Lord Zhang be killed and the starstone was stolen from under your nose." "Wei. It was a trap. General Kai, he killed Zhang. He has the stone." "Master. Of course. Kai is my second hand in this plan. He is testing you, just as I am." Wei freezes, realizing her entire mission was a sham. The sect and General Kai are partners in tyranny, engineering her failure so Kai could seize power. Dragged toward the dungeons, Wei is intercepted in a dark corridor by Zhen, who gently touches her wounded cheek. "Zhen, This isn't the only way, Wei. The master, he's corrupt. You were right. Wei. You knew? Jen. I was sent to watch you with orders to eliminate you if you falter. But I cannot. Wei is locked away in a golden containment cell designed for dangerous dissidents. Outside, Jen drops his insignia and turns his back on his post, officially betraying the master. In a safe house, Jen breaks into the master's private library to search for proof. He uncovers the dark truth. The Starstone is not a weapon, but a power source for a mind control grid designed to strip free will from every citizen. Suddenly, Lord Kai enters with elite guards. A fierce battle breaks out, but Kai overpowers Jen with a poisoned blade. Weakened, Jen collapses into a dark alley. Will they survive the consequences of their betrayal? Wei manages to escape her golden cage and stumbles through the rain-slicked alleys, desperate and exhausted. She happens upon a dark alcove and discovers a familiar figure, Jen, pale, bleeding, and on the verge of death from Lord Kai's poisoned blade. Realizing he risked everything to protect her, Wei vows to save him. Avoiding Lotus patrols, she forces a rogue apothecary to brew a rare antidote. She returns just as Jen's pulse fades, forcing the cure down his throat. The antidote works, bringing him back from the brink of death. No longer an executioner for the sect, Jen is reborn as a protector fighting for justice and for Wei. Jen. Kai has the stone. He's going to activate it during the Harvest Festival. Wei. We have to stop him. Jen. We can't do it alone. We need an army. Jen leads Wei to a hidden rebel camp deep within ancient ruins. The rebels immediately draw their weapons against their former tormentor, but Wei steps in front of them, defending him. Wei. He saved my life. He knows the sect's weaknesses. He is not my master's dog anymore. Winning their trust, Jen trains the rebels, turning former victims into formidable fighters. Meanwhile, the Harvest Festival begins. The Sun Tower looms over Jade City, and on its highest balcony, Lord Kai holds the glowing Starstone. The countdown to total tyranny has begun, and the final resistance prepares to strike. To be continued. The Harvest Festival arrives, plunging Jade City into a vibrant celebration that serves as a smokescreen for Lord Kai's ascension. High atop the Sun Tower, the Starstone pulses in rhythm with the unconscious crowd below. Wei and Jen breach the lower levels with their rebel army. Jen. This is it. Once Kai starts the chant, the device will sync with their minds. We must destroy the pedestal. Wei. You go for the stone. I'll take the guards. A brutal battle erupts as rebels push up the stairs while Wei cuts down waves of elite Lotus guards. Jen reaches the top balcony just as Kai begins his chant, plunging the cheering citizens into an eerie, glazed silence. Kai draws his serrated blade, blocking Jen's path. Lord Kai. It is done, Jen. Watch as your world ends. Trapped between Kai's lethal attacks and the glowing pedestal, Jen cannot destroy the stone without taking a fatal blow. Just in time, Wei bursts onto the balcony, her hidden blades clashing with Kai's sword in a shower of sparks. Lord Kai. You fight for nothing, little Lotus. The world craves a master. Wei. The world craves freedom. While Wei holds Kai off, Jen jams his blade into the pedestal's core. The Starstone flares violently and shatters into 1,000 pieces, breaking the psychic link instantly. Down in the plaza, thousands gasp as they wake from the nightmare. Stripped of his power, Kai screams in rage and lunges at Wei with a broken blade. Jen leaps between them, taking the fatal strike meant for her and collapsing in her arms. With the Lotus sect exposed and peace restored to the Jade Kingdom, the shattered Starstone glows one last time with a healing aura, mending Jen's wounds. Standing side by side on the balcony overlooking a peaceful city, Wei and Jen are finally free. With the tyranny of the Lotus sect shattered and the citizens of Jade City fully awakened from their nightmare, the dark cloud that hung over the empire for generations finally begins to lift. On the high balcony of the Sun Tower, the warm embrace of morning light replaces the cold, oppressive shadows of the past. Wei holds Jen tightly as the miraculous healing energy of the shattered crystal fades, leaving him breathing steadily, his heartbeat strong and completely restored. They look out together over a peaceful, vibrant city that is finally beginning to heal. Down below in the bustling plazas, people laugh, hug one another, and embrace their newfound freedom without fear of invisible masters or psychological chains. In the days that follow, the remnants of the hidden Lotus sect are systematically dismantled. Lord Kai and the Faceless Master are placed in unbreakable chains, marched through the streets to face public justice, and cast into permanent exile in the desolate northern wastes, ensuring they can never again manipulate the vulnerable or strip individuals of their free will. The imperial government is thoroughly restructured, with Governor Zhang's loyal officers stepping up to establish a transparent, just administration dedicated to protecting the people rather than subjugating them. The Sun Tower is officially rededicated as a magnificent, soaring monument to human liberty and autonomy. Inside its halls, the old training grounds where children were once forged into unfeeling, expendable weapons are transformed into academies of learning, art, and peace. No longer bound by white gauze masks, hidden blades, or orders from a tyrant, Wei and Zhen stand side by side on the balcony overlooking the kingdom they fought so desperately to save. They are no longer hunters or hunted, executioners or slaves. They are simply themselves, two souls who found humanity, redemption, and deep love in the darkest of places, walking forward hand in hand into a bright, truly free future. With the dark legacy of the hidden Lotus sect thoroughly dismantled and the kingdom safely returned to its people, a peaceful new chapter officially begins across the empire. The streets of Jade City, once heavy with fear and silent oppression, now overflow with vibrant life, music, and the laughter of citizens who wake up every morning knowing their minds and futures belong entirely to themselves. High above the bustling capital, the Sun Tower stands proudly as a shining beacon of liberty rather than a monument to tyranny. Inside its newly transformed halls, the old, brutal training regimens of the past are replaced by programs focused on healing, education, and mutual support for the young people who were once treated as expendable weapons. The regime's terrifying ideology has been utterly erased, replaced by a society built on transparency, empathy, and absolute freedom of choice. Wei and Zhen dedicate their lives to ensuring that the shadows of the past can never return. Working closely with the newly formed council, they help track down and dismantle the final, scattered remnants of the sect's underground networks across the distant provinces. Yet, amidst their duties, they finally find the peace and quiet they were denied for so long. Gone are the white gauze masks that stripped away their identities, and gone are the hidden blades meant for assassination. Standing together on the familiar balcony as the sun sets over a tranquil horizon, Wei and Zhen look out at a world completely reborn. They are no longer trapped instruments of a faceless master, nor are they hunted fugitives running from their past. Hand in hand, they embrace a future filled with genuine warmth, mutual devotion, and endless possibilities, stepping forward together into the bright dawn of a truly free Jade Kingdom. With the Empire firmly on the path of healing, a quiet evening descends upon the capital, wrapping the Sun Tower in a blanket of golden light and gentle mountain breezes. The transition from a society ruled by fear to one anchored in liberty has not been without its challenges, but the unbreakable spirit of the people prevails. Schools are filled with the sound of children laughing, and marketplaces thrive with honest commerce and open exchange, completely free from the watchful, paranoid eyes of the old regime. Wei and Zhen walk together along the quiet stone pathways of the rebuilt city gardens. The heavy armor and the sterile white gauze masks are long gone, replaced by simple, comfortable garments that reflect their true identities rather than assigned roles. For the first time in their lives, they experience the profound luxury of an ordinary moment, strolling without looking over their shoulders, speaking without whispering codes, and sharing a quiet future built entirely on their own terms. Sitting on a low marble bench overlooking the river, Zhen takes Wei's hand, his thumb gently tracing the scars left behind by a lifetime of combat. Though those physical marks remain as reminders of where they came from, they no longer carry any pain. Instead, they stand as testaments to survival, resilience, and the power of a love that managed to bloom even in the darkest trenches of the underworld. Zhen, I used to think strength meant never feeling anything at all. Now I know true strength is choosing to care, even when the world tries to make you cold. Wei leans her head against his shoulder, smiling softly as she watches the river catch the final rays of the setting sun. Wei, we survived the dark, Zhen. Now, it's time to live in the light. As the stars begin to emerge in the vast night sky, casting a serene glow over the peaceful Jade Kingdom, They look toward the horizon together. The past is a shadow behind them, but the path ahead is wide open, bright, and entirely their own. Seasons change across the Jade Kingdom, washing away the final echoes of winter's frost and replacing them with the vibrant, blooming colors of spring. The empire has truly transformed. What was once a land governed by paranoia, hidden daggers, and the ruthless decree of the hidden Lotus sect is now a thriving sanctuary of art, culture, and individual liberty. The old guard towers stand not as symbols of terror, but as monuments to human endurance and triumph. High in the mountains overlooking the capital, Wei and Zhen have built a quiet, peaceful life far away from the political squabbles of the new imperial council. Though they are frequently invited to the capital to share their wisdom and help guide the younger generation of protectors, their hearts belong to the tranquil simplicity of their mountainside home. On a bright, clear morning, Wei practices her swordplay in the courtyard. Her movements are no longer constrained by the rigid, robotic discipline of the sect. Instead, her strikes are fluid, expressive, and entirely her own, infused with a fierce joy and grace that reflects a completely liberated spirit. Zhen leans against the wooden porch railing, watching her with a warm, adoring smile, holding a steaming cup of tea. Zhen, you know, your form gets more dangerous every day. I might need to start wearing chainmail around the house. Wei lowers her blade, laughing softly as she walks over to him, resting her arms on his shoulders. Wei, only if you plan on giving me a reason to use it. They share a quiet, profound look, bound by an unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of survival and love. The ghosts of the past have finally been laid to rest. The faceless master and his corrupted regime are nothing more than dust carried away by the wind. As the morning sun warms the valley below, illuminating a peaceful and prosperous Jade Kingdom, Wei and Zhen step forward into yet another beautiful day, fully embracing the miraculous gift of tomorrow. Years pass, and the tale of Wei and Zhen becomes a legendary cornerstone whispered with reverence across the generations of the Jade Kingdom. Parents share the story around evening hearthfires, reminding their children that even in the deepest, most suffocating shadows of tyranny, human empathy, courage, and true love possess the power to shatter any chain. The old hidden Lotus sect is entirely forgotten, reduced to a mere cautionary myth of what happens when a society permits fear to eclipse freedom. High above the bustling, prosperous valleys, the mountainside home of Wei and Zhen stands as a peaceful sanctuary of warmth and laughter. Their courtyard, once echoing only with the sound of silent, robotic training strikes, now overflows with the vibrant chatter of students who come from all across the provinces to learn martial arts founded not on blind obedience, but on mindfulness, protection, and inner strength. One crisp autumn afternoon, Wei and Zhen stand together on their balcony, looking out over a horizon painted in brilliant shades of gold and amber. The kingdom below thrives in absolute harmony, its people walking tall and unburdened by masks or fear. Zhen wraps a protective arm around Wei's waist, pulling her close as a gentle breeze rustles through the surrounding trees. Zhen, we never really expected to see a morning like this, did we? Wei leans into his embrace, her dark eyes shining with quiet contentment as she watches a flock of birds soar freely across the clear blue sky. Wei, no, we didn't. But we fought for every single sunrise. They smile, resting easy in the profound knowledge that the darkness has been permanently conquered by the light. Together, hand in hand, they turn away from the horizon and step back inside their home, ready to embrace whatever peaceful tomorrow awaits them next.